Have you ever heard of a show that is cursed? What comes to mind when I say that? Not only a show, maybe a movie. The first thing I think about, for example, is Glee. Corey Monteith, found dead of an apparent drug overdose. Naya Rivera, drowned in Lake Peru. Melissa Benoit, or if I didn't butcher her after name, domestic violence claims. Suicide of Mark Sailing amid child pornography charges. These people I mentioned now had a role in Glee. Bruce Lee's son died filming The Crow in March 31, 1993. He got accidentally shot on stage. Of course, there's probably more cursed shows or movies, but I wanted to talk about one specific show. Have you ever heard about the Power Rangers? It is an entertainment merchandising franchise built around a live-action superhero series. The first entry was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It debuted in 1993, 28th of August. There's a channel here on YouTube where they have put everything about the Power Rangers. So I'm gonna leave the link in the description down below if you want to see what it is about. I remember watching the show as a kid, and I thought that the Rangers dinosaurs were very cool, and that I actually wished that I could fight like the Power Rangers. I also owned the toys. I had the Red Ranger, and for some reason I remember that I owned the pink one, and I know that wasn't really my choice, because as a kid I didn't touch anything that was pink. I remember taking these two toys to school one day. I think it was elementary school. And I wanted to show off my toys. So I showed the pink one. And they started to laugh really hard. So hard, I ran away. Core memory. Anyway, I found the story on TikTok about different people in the Power Rangers, because Power Rangers continued for a long time. So I wanted to cover it. I'm going to talk about a few actors that had a role in the Power Rangers series. I will mention Austin St. John, Ricardo Medina Jr., Magasiva, and Skylar deleon. We already know that they have the show in common. But what more do they have in common? Crime. So here's about the first three that I mentioned. Austin St. John played as the teenage superhero in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 1993. He was the Red Leader Power Ranger. He was indicted on federal fraud charges in May 2022. Just gonna read the explanation of my paper here. He allegedly conspired in a $3.5 million scheme to create businesses or use existing ones to submit applications to fraudulently obtain Paycheck Protection Program funding. Then allegedly transferred the money to the scheme ringleaders. He faces up to a potential sentence up to 20 years, according to source. And he allegedly obtained more than $400,000 in fraudulent PPP loans. If you want to go deeper on the crimes I'm mentioning here, then you're going to find the links in the description down below. Ricardo Medina Jr. was in the Power Rangers Wild Force in 2002 as Cole Evans. He also was in Power Rangers Super Samurai from 2011 to 2012 as Decker. He was arrested in February 1st, 2015 for allegedly stabbing his roommate with a katana. He got charged with voluntary manslaughter in 2016. He pleaded guilty 2017 and he got a 6-year sentence. He got 6 years in prison. Power Magasiva had a role in Power Rangers Ninja Storm as the Red Ranger. He also had other roles in another movie. Power Ranger Ninja Storm was filmed in New Zealand in November 15, 2003. That is where Power Magasiva lived. He took suicide after a series of domestic assault incidents towards his wife. He was 38 years old, died May 11, 2019. Now we have Skylar Julius Deleon. His real name is John Julius Jacobson Jr. His stage name is Skylar. He was 14 years old when he appeared in one episode of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. He had a very small, he had a small fame after that, but didn't last long. He is a convicted murderer that made a sex change in 2019 while awaiting death row. I will get more to that. Skylar Deleon got sentenced to death penalty for the murders of Tom and Jackie Hawks. These two were the couple that wanted to sell their beloved boat because they needed the money to move closer to their grandson. Now, boat is an understatement. It was a yacht. And they used it, it was so big, they used it as a permanent home. And they call it, Well-deserved. They called the boat Well-deserved. And they pretty much lived there. So it wasn't small. The first person to answer the advertisement for the yacht sale was Skylar Deleon. This story is really sad because these two couples were really loved. They had a lot of friends and they were really loved by them and their family. Not only that, they really loved each other like soulmates. And the thing is, I can't find any information that they have been found. So there's a possibility that they're still gone. These are the two couples that were adventurous, that wanted to be adventurous together and just live life. That is why the story is so sad, because they look like the nicest people in the world. And like I said, they were loved by many. And Jackie Hawks was 22 years old. She was in an accident that resulted in her not being able to get kids of her own. So when her stepson got a child, she really wanted to devote herself in the role as the best grandmother in the world. November 12, 2004 was the last trip they took on the yacht. After that, no one heard from them ever again. It wasn't until November 16, 2004 that people started to notice that something wasn't right. The yacht was in its place, but the car was gone. And no one could get a hold of them, which wasn't typical of them at all. They did know, though, that someone was interested in the boat and that the person was going to test drive it. So a friend of Jackie and Tom Hawks, that is a retired policeman, wrote a message to the buyer and wrote that the couple is missing, that he wants to talk. The one that reached out to this message was Jennifer Deleon, Skylar Deleon's wife. She told the retired cop, Tom and Jackie's friend, that they paid for the boat in cash in full, but that they also wondered where they were because they needed more information about how the boat works, and that they tried to reach out, but Tom and Jackie never contacted back. Jim thought this was suspicious, so he contacted their friend Patricia, Patricia was put in charge of Tom and Jackie's finances. So she, paid the bills and took care of their finances while they were gone to Mexico. But she never saw that Jackie or Tom deposit the money into the bank. There were no activity, and that is very odd. November 26, 2004. The cop that took charge of the case did some digging on Jennifer and Skylar deleon. What he found on Skylar deleon made him feel that people should be worried, because Skylar deleon at that time was a convicted felon on probation. He sent a detective to the boat to see if they could find any clues. This detective found a receipt on the floor in the boat, and also the boat looked messy as hell, like somebody had robbed it. But like I said, he found a receipt on the floor on the boat. The receipt was from Target, and what was on the receipt was a bit off. There were 3 trash bags, bleach, and Thumbs Ultra, if it's called that way. Let's see, Thumbs Ultra. But it wasn't Skylar or Jennifer that bought these things, because they will see on a surveillance camera in Target that it was another man. So they wonder, of course, who he is. This man, how is he connected to Skylar and Jennifer? Yes, he is no other than Jennifer's father. When questioned by the cops, he doesn't really see a problem, so he confesses to everything. All he sees is that his daughter asked him to buy these things because his daughter and his daughter's husband had bought a boat, and that's pretty much it. That's all he knew. When Jennifer got questioned the second time, the cops found her pretty much genuine. She didn't know where the Hawks were. And Skylar said that he bought the boat, signed the documents that were proper, and recorded them, and that he really didn't know what more to say. And when the cops did look through the documents, they saw that Skylar was actually telling the truth. But he got brought in for more questions into the police department. The cop that had the lead on this case wondered where he got that money from to spend on the yacht, because he didn't look like the person that had that kind of money, take it as you will. Skylar knew that the cops probably already did some digging on him and found out that he was a convicted felon. So he came clean about a burglary that he did. He wanted to spend that money in a way that could support his family because he is a father. So he was honest about the crime he committed and said that money from that crime he took and spent it on the boat. If he spent all that money that came from the burglary, I don't know. He has already got consequences for that burglary, so he might as well come clean with it, because the consequences between the burglary and the murder of these two is highly different. He's not a fool for trying, because like I said, the consequences for a burglary and the consequences for two murders is severely different. So for me, not big of a fool for trying. So from here we have established that Skylar is really good at lying. When he went to buy this boat, he had all the money in a suitcase. And he was very honest about how, for example, Tom Hawks reacted when he opened it. He explained that when Skylar opened the briefcase to show the money to Tom Hawks, Tom said, "Please close it." So Skylar could see also on Tom that he was excited, but still a little bit nervous. Me personally, of course, think Tom was a bit suspicious of Skylar. But of course, according to Skylar, he got the keys and the couple then just drove away, and that was the last time Jennifer and Skylar saw them. But little did Skylar know that the cop had one more key evidence that he wanted to show to Skylar. They have a footage of Skylar and Jennifer in the bank trying to take out money from Jackie's and Tom's account. Also, they had a document saying that Tom and Jackie has given them full power over their assets. And that is just no way. The bank, of course, didn't give them anything because they found that very suspicious, because they pretty much know who Tom and Jackie are. And of course, Skylar had a very smooth explanation for this, because we have, like I said, established he's a very, very good liar. Skylar said he did have witnesses with him that day when he bought the boat. So the witnesses were Jennifer, his daughter, a small child, and a friend called Alonso, and then the notary. So the cop did some digging on Alonso and found out that the two met when Skylar did some jail time. Alonso was a guard that became friends with Skylar. And of course, all of the mentioned witnesses had the same story as Skylar. For the cops, it felt like they hit a dead end. So they reached out to the media and said that Jackie and Tom Hawks were missing, and that if anyone knew anything about the situation, that they would reach out. I'm gonna fast forward and go to the point. Tom and Jackie were kidnapped. They got also taken out to the deepest part of the Pacific on their boat. The couple was handcuffed and tied to an anchor and thrown overboard. Before that happened, Jackie begged for her life and begged to see her grandson one last time. Skylar did not listen. Alonso, Skylar's friend, helped him kidnap the Hawks and witness when Skylar threw them overboard. But Skylar was the mastermind here. Skylar also hired a gang member to help carry out the murder. They showed absolutely no remorse, and after the murder was done and Jackie and Tom was thrown overboard, they had a good time on their boat. The three men, Alonso, Skylar, and the gang member, got charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. Jennifer stood by Skylar and told television that he was innocent. She got also charged because she helped carry out the murders from the shore. Motive? Money. She sealed the deal with the Hawks while being there with her child. So Jennifer, life behind bars. Alonso, 20 years. Gang member, death penalty. Skylar, not only did he kill the Hawks, a year earlier he slit the throat of a man just because. He got the death penalty. So did he do all of this just to have cash? Was the motive really only money? No, Skylar wanted to do a sex change. He needed $17,000 for this surgery because the surgery was already booked 2 weeks after he carried out the murders of the Hawks. An author that wrote about this case, the book is called Dead Reckoning, visited Skylar a lot in prison, and she mentioned that The only thing he could talk about was how he wanted to get rid of his penis. Now, he did try to cut off his penis with a razor in jail. In the end, the state of California did pay for his surgery, so he became a woman. He still says he's not guilty, and he has appealed his conviction, and he is now divorced from Jennifer. Just a little bit about Skylar. He was born August 12, 1979. He has changed his name twice. The first time was when he got married and emancipated from his father. The second time was Skylar deleon, and that was his role name in the Power Rangers, where he had his small fame, so I guess that was why. He and his relatives also claimed or said that his father was very abusive of Skylar. When Skylar was 20 years old, he was in the US Navy. He joined the US Navy. But he was absent for 15 days, so he got discharged. In 2002, he got married to Jennifer and had 2 kids. The couple did have money problems, so that is when the crime began. According to relatives, he got beaten really bad by his father because he couldn't live up to his father's standards, impossible standards, and he fell very short in his father's eyes. And this was, of course, when he was a child. He was beaten constantly, according to his relatives. And also according to his relatives, he got taught from right and wrong, and that he was a polite kid that laughed a lot. And according to source and Skylar's relatives, his mother took cocaine, snorted cocaine, and when she put her son to bed, she anticipated in orgies. And he was like, if I remember in the article, he was like 2 years old, so somewhere there. That is according to source. I know nothing about his mother. That is just what I read. If it's true, if it's not, can't really tell. Obviously, we can tell that he had a mess up life just by his behavior. Also, maybe he lied. He learned to lie effortlessly thanks to his father's abuse. Maybe he needed to lie to get out of problems from his mother and his father, and this is why he became a really, really good liar, and that it's effortless for him. Should also know that the relatives said this story or told this information in court when deleon was set for the death penalty. So I'm not saying it's not true. I'm not saying it is. It's just I personally, I can't find more. I can't find more information about his childhood. What I would have loved to know is more about Skylar deleon's behavior as a child. Was he only polite? Did he only laugh? I mean, I wanted to know more specifics. Like, I know that his parents were horrible, according to relatives and the mother. But they really don't go deep on his behavior when he was little. He had a drowning accident. But what I want to know, because I mean, I read the childhood of Jeffrey Dahmer, the clown Pogo, what's his name? No, John Wayne Gacy. I want to kind of know if there was something that stuck out, but I can't find it because the information I found was very heavily towards the parents. And of course, all of that, if all of that is true, which I'm not saying it's not, will absolutely mess up a kid. Obviously, let me put some music on. Obviously, all of that abuse and everything he went through when he was little could lead to him doing all of this. Of course, it's just I wanted to know more. Yeah, guys, that was it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe, and remember, this is not mainly a crime channel. I'm a gamer. I upload gaming videos as well. So if that is something that sounds good to you, then please stick around, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching this video. Have a good day. Bye bye.